All right, so this is going to be how a pessimistic, negative outlook on life creates a negative lifestyle, or a life where we see it as, pointless. There's no point of it. And when we see life as pointless, we start to spend our time in things that are actually more so on the consumer-based market, where we're constantly consuming things, chasing a high because we aren't able to create our own motherfucking high. Before we get started, give me a favor, like, comment, subscribe, so we can motherfucking whoop that algorithm's ass. You better fucking believe it. Real shit. So a negative external outlooks are always a manifestation of an inward negative attitude towards life. And a negative attitude towards life is really a byproduct of a lack of harmony and balance of the mind. By allowing external influences to infiltrate with low vibrational energies and exacerbate the problem at the root cause of that perspective, right? Where we're dealing with two things. Not only are we dealing with our own pessimistic, negative disposition that we need to learn to bring balance and harmony to, so we're not too high and we're not too fucking low. We gotta learn to bring balance into our fucking life, so we're not byproducts of this extreme bipolarness. And it's not necessarily bad. In fact, the more aware your spirit becomes, the more expanded your mind becomes, the more polarizing you might come off, just because the way you encapsulate reality with your thoughts and feelings may be so big that people might actually be scared of. And the person that's playing the character or the archetype of the pessimistic negative person, they're gonna look at you negatively because you're always finding solutions rather than spending your time in problems and shit like that. Yeah, keep that in mind also. So we gotta make sure we get to the root cause of things before we even allow the fucking external world to influence us. Actually, don't even let the external world influence us, because most of the external world, as we're gonna get into, is made of just low vibrational people, low animalistic energies that are gonna actually inspire you and make it look like it's okay to jump into those things based upon it being a coping mechanism and thinking like, yo, we need these things. But no, you don't really need these things. And a lot of this worldly shit, this worldly flesh, these worldly vices is some shit that need to be separated from slowly and surely, and not some shit that we need to attach our observer, our awareness to. So it is a perception that we may be subconsciously fueling by giving it our awareness, right? Where life is always going to have problems, right? But the more we look at that problem like, you know what, we can't do that, we don't know how to do that, like, because there's always going to be a problem, right? But we may be giving this problem so much energy to the point that we just look at it as a big block that we can't necessarily surpass. Because here's the thing, it's all about perception. A lot of the times you can take a problem and over-exacerbate that shit in your own mind, just based upon maybe how you was raised, or based upon, your background, or what you're comfortable with and uncomfortable with and shit like that, right? So problems purely exist in our own head, and it's just based upon our perception and how we choose to perceive these things and stuff like that. And the more we give fuel to all our perceived, our self-deluded, self-perceived problems, the more that problem is going to appear bigger, but in reality it's not. We just made it bigger. You ever see someone that's like small in size, but like, man, this might not be a good example. You ever see someone that's physically big in size, but you might think they're intimidating and shit like that? Where you made the physicality a problem, but you might have met them and you realize, oh shit, this is one of the nicest people in the world and shit like that, right? That's like taking an external appearing problem, exacerbating it based on the internal fear. You might look at that person and in fact feel inferior to them based upon their physique and their physical body and height and shit. Where you got a lot of shit in this culture that talk about, oh, if you're a man, you need to be like 6'5", or all this dumbass shit. So it's like, it's a lot of this shit that we be feeding, that we be thinking we need in order to participate in the society that really we don't even need. It just be some shit that's actually flunking us out, right? It's like, it's like real shit. I'm telling you, God is all that's possible. Never let society tell you something is not possible. Because society is a motherfucking lie. It's built on a lie, and it's gonna lie to you to jump into that lie. And it's a bunch of lesions, bunch of low vibrational animalistic lesions and shit like that come and vibrate together and form gang groups, so they can be like, oh yeah, let's do that desire, yeah, let's be animals. Like, I'm telling you, that's how Earth is, bro. So basically, it's like this, right? Coming back to the pessimistic negative outlook on life that creates basically a pointless life, right? The point of life is to create your own points, right? A pointless life occurs when you don't have your own points to reach, like not having goals. or having your own purpose. So it becomes a life of being aimless and doing things chaotically. So now we're more so taking actions based upon emotions, because we're looking for some form of stability, safety, security, and some form of like comfortability and shit like that. So we're gonna be gravitated towards the points that a lot of these corporations and shit like that that are gonna create. A lot of these programs are gonna be in society and shit like for us to jump into, right? So for example, right, if you don't have your own values, if I'm your mother and father, right, and I'm like, yo son, value going to school because I need you to create a work schedule and routine so you can have a status, work schedule and routine. So value being at school, so you can create a work schedule and routine to go to school, study all day, 4 years, and then you can bring that schedule and then you can value what your boss wants you to value, and then you can do that you can take your schedules and routine, go work a 9 to 5, so you can have a status at work and shit like that, right? But if you valued the shit that you wanted to fucking value, if you created your own fucking point in the first place, to the point that like you say, okay, yo, I value art. Okay, I'm gonna do art every day. I'm gonna make art a routine and scheduled activity, a part of my daily practice and process, and that's what's gonna assist me in creating that status at the end of the day at that 10th house area, to the point that you become the boss, the manager of your own business based upon what you value. But see, that's what I'm talking about. If you don't create your own points, someone else will create those points for you, and you'll be susceptible to the world rather than participating, based upon some internal external shit, not external internal shit, where now people are so geared to using the external world to satiate and deal with their internal natures that they may not necessarily know how to just go within and deal with and shit like that, right? Keep that in mind also as we go forward. So yeah, so basically, it's like like I said. So not having your own goals, not having your own purpose in life, right? Like for me, this YouTube channel is a goal. My art is a goal. My purpose is a goal. Without it, I'm gonna be aimlessly wandering in the world, susceptible to the fucking negative, retarded shit of the motherfucking world and shit like that, right? And we don't want to be in that position, because then it's gonna be us coming from a space of being unfulfilled, looking externally to get fulfilled. So you might even jump into a relationship that's low key, low standard, and based upon the standards of the world and shit like that, right? Where you don't have your own standard, someone else is gonna create that standard for you. So make sure you standardize your fucking life for your fucking self and shit like that, right? Yeah. So we're now basically, like I said earlier, we become non-productive members of society, constantly consuming the earth, being part of the consumer market. But the most fulfilling thing that you can do is not consuming, it's fucking producing, because you actually created some shit out of nothing. You created some shit out of your internal natures, and you put that shit out into the world, yo. And that's what's fulfilling. Not actually being in the consumer market, being in the producer's market. That's the shit that's fulfilling, right? Real shit. Yeah. So it's that. So yeah, real shit. So not constantly consuming the earth, right? Being in the consumer market. So rather than participating in the act of creation, where you're a producer, by going inward and deciding what we value, and now pay attention. This is astrology, trigonometry, based upon what we internally cater our energy for, which are like the yin houses, right? So what we value, Taurus, second house, where you plant seeds, where you want to grow, which you want to see which you want to see flourish in the long run. It could be the shit that you don't have, or the shit that you do have too. The shit that you care for, Cancer, the fourth house, what you nurture, what you give water to, what you give, care for, to watch out. Because if you don't care for your baby, if you don't care for that idea that you had, it's not gonna fucking grow. It's gonna get in the dust and motherfucking die, right? So it's like, and then put these things on some type of routine and schedule. Make sure that you have your own desire, and you just go have a dream about it, even though if you don't get there, that's fine. But it's okay to have a dream about it. Just make sure it's practical and it's not some shit that's motherfucking going on in your head, right? So if you don't give yourself these things, right, the world's gonna give you something to value. The world's gonna give you something to care for. The world's gonna give you something to routinely do. The world's gonna give you something to desire. The world's gonna give you something to dream about. Just because we didn't decide these things for ourselves, we let the world decide these things for us. So these things have to be decided by us, right? And based upon our natal chart, based upon our astrology and shit like that, there's already a certain way that we're coming to approach these things, that we're just learning to balance, and we're just it's all a part of learning about yourself. And the more you learn about yourself, you'll know what you're here to do, and based on what quality and stuff like that. That's why it's important to get into astrology, numerology, and these different tools, so you can understand yourself and have a better way of operating from the world, where it's like it becomes a clear perspective, because it's based upon like astrology, which is like a godly concept, where a lot of these religions derived out of the sun worship, derived out of moon worship, derived out of these astrological alignments and shit like that. Like when you see letters, that's like an alignment of light and shit. Like that's like a space, that's like a position and shit like that, where you might be playing out that position subconsciously, and you might be doing it naturally, but the more you know yourself, the more you get to some of these tools, the more you can see it clearly, and the more you can be sure that this is what you're doing. Where we're in a society that tries to make sure that makes us feel unsure, not right with ourselves, insecure, blah 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 blah. You get what I'm saying? Real shit. So if you don't decide these things for yourself, aka what you spend time and energy in, these things will be decided and applied for you by the beast system we're in. Because what is the fucking beast system? The beast system is the system that's fucking using our mind to keep fueling it so we can build this fucking world. Because ain't no Mason built the world, bro. We built the world for these Masons. We built the world for these Jews via believing in their concepts and shit like that. So when you don't have your own system, you're going to be absorbed by someone else's system. So you got to create your own rotation. You got to create your own fucking vortex and shit like that. Yeah, so if you don't coordinate and correlate your own points, aka your houses, like I said earlier, you know what I'm saying? Shit like what you value, what you care for, what you routinely do, what you desire, what you dream about and shit like that, right? If you don't coordinate and correlate your own points to have your own rotation of awareness where you are actually spending that time and energy in, so you can create your own vortex of manifestation, or aka your circle of power, then don't be mad that you're depressed, sad, and angry, because by you not creating your own vortex, by you not creating your own rotation, what happened was you don't have your own like positive negative pole, you don't have your own circle and shit like that. So the world having a more powerful circle than you, because there's a bunch of spirits participating in this fucked up, retarded ass, low vibrational world, right? So it's like you might just think it's normal to jump into that, and here's the thing: if you don't do anything with your life, it will suck you in, because it's all around you. The politics, the religion, the entertainment system, the structuring of things and shit like that, right? They make you think you need to do these things in the way that it's presented, but all these things are just crafted based upon, you know what I'm saying, people's just lack of ability to get something for themselves and shit like that, right? We're not creating our own system. We gotta create our own system so we can because we're not trying to get away from nothing. Ain't nobody scared of no Mason, or nobody scared of no Jew, nothing like that. It's just about like creating your own rotation. This way you can actually live life on your terms. How many people around you do you see living life on their terms? Barely anybody, because people don't want to live life on their terms. People are like, oh no, just create the terms for me. You want to pay me $16 an hour, brother? Praise Jesus. Yeah, let's go. Oh, I gotta go to the mosque 5 times a day because I need a blessing from an entity to manifest my life, because I don't know how to coordinate and correlate myself. Oh yeah, let me go to the mosque, let me go to the church. Nah. All that shit you're looking for is already inside of you. You just gotta create your own vortex, your own goddamn rotation. But you know what I'm saying? Use your time and energy wisely. You think all these political parties, all these entertainers, all these people is trying to get your attention for no reason, where they're paying billions of dollars for advertisements? You think that shit is for no reason? Yeah, man, I'm telling you, to the point that like, you be on your phone will be telling you about Kamala Harris and Donald Trump. Man, I don't want to know about that. See, it's like they gotta project that shit in your face and like make sure you're concentrated on that, which most people are, right? So, but the more people we get on this wave, the more we can start to create our own system and shit like that, far away from this fucking retarded shit and shit like that, right? Yeah, but on to the next page and shit. Yeah. And here's the thing, right? So like I said earlier, you can't be mad, depressed, and shit like that, because if you don't have your own system, you're not living a disciplined, structured life, then of course you're not going to be happy. Of course you're going to be like flunked out and shit like that. Of course you're going to be on Instagram fucking scrolling 1,000 fucking stories, scrolling 1,000 fucking comedies and shit like that, because people will be looking for a high that they can actually experience via what they created. That's why I'm encouraging people to join the producer economy and not to motherfucking sit there and enjoy this consumer shit, because it's like, that's not fulfilling. It's not fulfilling at all. Like, it's just constantly looking for a high rather than you being the producer of the high. Think about it, right? Your favorite artist is producing that shit. Your favorite chef is making your favorite food. Your favorite restaurant is manufacturing and marketing and producing your favorite meal, right? McDonald's, KFC, all these things, right? Who said you can't become those things? And the journey is really what's going to be fulfilling, right? Because it's going to be your life purpose. It's going to be your magnum opus. It's going to be your great work. Basically, you have to have a great work in life, a purpose that you're embarking down upon that's going to actually create a quality standard, fulfilling life and shit like that, right? Yeah, and so, yeah, some of the last points that I want to get into that I got for earlier was, so like I said earlier, a lot of these programs that are presented in front of us, like political parties, entertainment, stuff like that, just be things that cater to our biases and be things that cater to our desires, right? So a lot of programs will get you lost in a biased program as to not expand your awareness. And some of these things, like I said earlier, are religions, political parties, things like the fucking gender wars and shit like that, where a solution is not being presented. It's just a constant like back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, two people being angry and shit like that, because no one has any balance and shit like that. People have become so polarized because the system has allowed them to be polarized, right? Where look at the West, for example. In the West, if you're a woman, which is nothing wrong with, it's shit like that, it makes you so bipolar to the point that you think that you are the man. But men and women, it's just allegories about the mind, right? Where when the Bible says shit like a woman is not supposed to speak, it is talking about a woman is not supposed to speak out of her, a person, an observer, in fact, is not supposed to speak out of their emotions and shit. You're supposed to use your logic and actually observe and connect dots and connect points and shit like that, right? But yeah, because I'm about to present you with this dichotomy, right? So in the West, you can be this extreme where men even want to become women. You know why? Because this shit is fucking comfortable. It makes your life easier, right? Where men be like, oh, my life is hard as a man. My life is shit. Oh my God. I better become a transgender. I better become a woman. See, shit get wild. And the other dichotomy is in the Middle East, the man has so much power, the woman ain't shit, the woman is a second-class citizen, the woman has to follow the man, but it's just another form of being bipolar, to the point that the man think the woman has no role in the house, she's supposed to submit, she's supposed to be a servant and shit like that, to the point that the woman doesn't have any form of balance, and the man himself is overly exacerbatedly lost in some type of like thought, some type of logic, where he's not being open to the intuition of the woman. So it's like, and here's the thing, a lot of things is just created by Masons and shit like that for us to jump into and be like, yeah, that's how life's supposed to be lived. It's all just dichotomies. It's all shit that create fucking mental complexes. It's all shit that create a lack of balance and shit. And there's a way to do these things. It's just not the way that the world fucking shows you. It's some shit like outside of this world, yo. So basically, like I was saying, right? A lot of these programs get you lost in a biased program as to not expand your awareness, right? So things like religions, political parties, gender wars, nationality wars, etc. So the list goes on and on. All these are half-truths that cater to biases based upon personal insecurities or lying to ourselves, because the truth is something that's holistic in nature and is bigger than everybody and require everybody to really work on themselves. And it doesn't need for people to fucking fight and argue for it. Like, watch. Time reveals everything. With time, you will be revealed to that the society is bullshit and it's not something that's actually allowing humanity to prosper. Watch, and if you don't think so, you probably just haven't been fucking observing stuff around you, right? And shit like that. Or sometimes you need a good observer to point out these things to you, so you can actually start to put the two together. But you might already be putting the two together on your own time, so you're like, oh shit, god damn it, yeah, I did see that. That don't make sense. Yeah, the system doesn't make sense, etc., right? So jumping into these external programs, these institutions that come in the form of political parties and religions, this is a form of worshiping external institutions or giving away energy to organizations, which is just a bunch of organs, an organization of a group of minds, rather than creating your own organ or mind to create your own reality, not based on a biased truth. Where look, we constantly give energy to the Democratic Party, we constantly give energy to these political parties, to these religions, but what we get in return is actually so little. So it's legit a scam to get you to give up your energy and shit like that. And like, it's that type of shit. And if you don't think so, tell me what Jesus gave you. Tell me what Muhammad Allah gave you. Tell me what Kamala Harris and Donald Trump done for you, other than done something for your bias and shit like that. Like, that's just about it. So if you don't create your own reality, it will be created for you, and you will be coping with it, and they will develop a lot of mechanisms to do that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Let's say someone is depressed, someone might jump in and take a lot of these medical pharmaceutical pills. Not to say that the technology itself of medical pharmaceutical pills is bad. No, like I got a lot of like, you know what I'm saying, pills that I take, but it's like vitamin D3, B, and shit and stuff like that, like spirulina and shit. It's not a bad technology, but a lot of the shit that they be manufacturing as like on the deeper pharmaceutical end, to the point that it has all these weird names and shit, like Oxemia or Ozozoma or whatever the fuck. Like, y'all know what I'm talking about and shit. That'd be shit low key that if you take to deal with your problem, your depression, it's actually going to compromise your health, and it's going to compromise your mind. A lot of people be taking this shit, yo, and they be like switching up mentally, yo. You gotta research this shit for yourself, man. For real, for real. God damn. Yeah. So they got a lot of distractions, like, you know, entertainment, putting you, especially this one, putting you in fear and stress and worry type of energy. So you run to them for solutions where you know, it's like the politicians is gonna create a scenario for you to be scared, to be worried, and be like, nah, guys, look, we got the solution to the problem. Come to me because I can save everybody. While the country itself that you're being ran by, they created that problem in collaboration with other countries, because kings hang out with other kings, presidents hang out with presidents, like high-level thinkers hang out with high-level thinkers. Do you really think at their level they're against each other? Nah, man, they're not against each other. They're against you. So they be making up all these like worldly conflicts, all types of shit, just to like, because you gotta understand, you're the gross domestic product, and the more I can control the gross domestic product and what direction if it's heading, if I let you have what you value, if I let you have your own routines and schedules, if I let you have your own status and shit like that, my system ain't gonna be no more. So I gotta create a system, therefore, to make sure I encapsulate your energy and shit like that, and keep you coming back to me and shit, because I got the motherfucking sugar. But people got it twisted. See, you got the motherfucking sugar, but it's about directing your time, your energy, and your awareness towards things that are favorable for you in the goddamn long term. And with that being said, y'all, that was all. I'm gonna see y'all on tomorrow's video, and yeah, peace out. Take care. Peace.